I'm sitting on my desk, I'm trying to write an email for a client, and for some reason I can't concentrate. So instead of, starting to write, what I do is I do the easiest thing. I grab my phone instinctively. I don't even think about it. And so I start scrolling, and 10 minutes pass. And nothing happens. I haven't written an email yet. And then I go back to my laptop, to my PC, and I try to write the email once again. And what happens is, once again, instinctively, I open YouTube and I see some eye-catching video and I start watching it. And that happens again and again and again for that day. And it happened a lot of times. And it wasn't until I discovered how to get into flow state. Because the reason I couldn't start writing the email is because I couldn't get into flow state. Okay? Because when you're not in flow state, your mind flows here and has ideas and whatever. When you're in flow state, you have no ideas. And what you're doing is just the one thing you're doing. You're just writing the email. You're there. You're present. You're concentrated. And you get 10 times more work done. That's why I only work 1 to 4 hours a day. Where other copywriters work 16. They have this garbage 80 to 100 hour work weeks. Okay? So in this video I want to show you some ways that I'm able to get into flow state. And yeah, that's what I want to share with you. So the first one is something called the 2-minute procrastination rule. And what it means is, when you're like, a lot of times you're going to avoid the work because you're going to be like, oh, I have to write 5 emails, or I have to do this, I have to do that. It's a lot of work. It seems like a lot of work. So what I want you to do is, I want you to put a timer on your phone. And you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to start doing the thing for 2 minutes, and then I'm going to stop. So you're going to start writing an email, and you're going to say, okay, I'm only going to write for 2 minutes. I'm only going to write for 2 minutes. And after that, I'm done. And most likely, once you do this exercise and you start doing the 2 minutes, you're gonna get into flow state, and then you won't want to stop. Now, of course, if you want to stop, whatever. But if you just push yourself a little bit in the first few minutes, then it's very easy to get into flow state, and then you can write the emails, outreach, whatever. The second thing I do is I always have coffee and water on my desk. See here, water, coffee. Have everything. That's how I get into flow state. I love drinking coffee, I love drinking water, and I don't want to get up every single time to go to have a drink. I want to have everything near me, so I don't get up and I don't get distracted. Because if I get up, most likely I'm going to see something that needs to be fixed. Most likely I'm going to check my phone, and most likely I'm going to get distracted, and I'm going to get outside of the flow state. So I don't want to do this. Another thing I do is I avoid eating carbs and definitely junk food. In fact, in the last few days, it was 5 days, I quit carbs immediately. I don't eat any carbs. I have an animal-based diet where I basically eat meat, eggs, butter, it's fruit, dairy, and cheese. That's what I eat. That's all I eat. I don't need rice, I don't need bread, I don't need anything. Because it's not just about, it's about your brain. It's about your brain. When you start eating all these crappy foods, your digestion goes into overload. So your body spends a lot of energy just trying to break that food and digest that food. But you don't want to do that. You want to have a clear brain. And when you just eat meat, eggs, and fat, that's what happens. Your brain is sharp. It's there. In 4 days, I feel a different person. I feel like I'm a superhuman. I'm not gonna lie to you. And people say that it takes around 2 to 3 weeks until you start seeing results. And I've already seen great results in 5 days of doing this. So now, don't take my word for it. Just do your research. Do your own research, of course. Some of the people I suggest try the researching is Paul Saladino, and his name is Anthony Chaffee. That's his name. So it's just searching these people, and you're gonna be amazed by what you find. I was amazed. The other thing is, eat the frog, no matter how hard it seems. And eating the frog is basically means that you always start your day with the hardest activity. You start the day with the hardest activity. A lot of people will procrastinate, they'll do something easier, they'll watch videos, they do this, and they're like, oh, I'm being productive, and your brain will find some excuse to do this. It's not gonna you're not gonna just start doing less productive activities. Your brain will find an excuse. That's what happens. You're gonna be like, oh, I did work yesterday. I did so much work yesterday. Or I'm gonna work after this video. It's cool. I just woke up, for example. That's what your brain might say. So always start your day with the hardest activity. And once you start your day with the hardest activity, then doing the less hard activities will be much easier. And the fifth thing I wanted to show is having a good night's sleep. And now I know how stupid it may sound, or how basic it may sound. You've probably heard this before, but bro, if you're not getting sleep, you're not resting. You're not resting. And if you're not resting, your brain is not producing all these things that you need to be productive and be sharp and be there in the next day. For example, I get in bed I probably sleep for 8+ hours a day. I never sleep below 6 hours. I never do this because I respect myself. How much do you respect yourself? Do you respect yourself? It's up to you. And the sixth thing I do, which kind of ties up to the fourth thing I said about eating the frog, is to write first thing in the morning. Because for me, the hardest part in the beginning, now it's the most enjoyable, I love it, it was writing copy. And that was the most draining activity. You want to start with the most draining activity because people don't have an infinite amount of deep work hours. They don't have an infinite amount of hours. What they do have is 3 to 4, maybe 5 to 6, maybe 5 to 6 deep work hours if you're doing keto. I haven't seen this yet in myself. I'm probably around the 4-hour mark. And yeah, you want to be very careful with how you spend your energy. You want to be very careful. And if you do these things, you're going to be able to get into flow state within minutes, seconds, and you're going to be able to land clients, make money, and finally stop being a copy wannabe, which is what I call copywriters who don't have clients. So yeah, if you found this valuable, like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you. Peace.